Welcome back, everybody, to the show. I am your host as J Villain, aka That Villain J, and with me, as always, my partner in darkness over here, member of the Black Council, Mono Black Extraordinaire, as you know, the numbest of skulls.
What's up, guys? Oh, sorry, left hand. What's up, guys?
There we go, left hand. He's backwards in the camera. The numbest of skulls. Mr. Numbskull himself is right here. There he is. We are here. We were talking about, we were trying to do an episode. I think we had one planned for last week. And we said, you know what? We have previews coming up for Thunder Junction.
Yeah.
And we said, let's wait. Let's just kind of put we could kind of speculate. We could kind of do nothing. Let's do something until we have a Thunder Junction idea and we have some stuff. So this is on the day of the preview. We're recording this fresh information that we got I think maybe only about 8 hours ago is when I watched it.
Pretty recently,
yeah. So this is going to be our talking about Thunder Junction previews. We're not going to do our card picks yet. The whole set hasn't launched yet. We don't have the full set of there. We have some preview cards. Part of the reason that we wanted to do a preview, there is a lot of stuff going on with Thunder Junction.
Yeah.
There is.
Wow.
Yeah. And
easy to be overwhelmed, and that's why we're here.
Exactly. I think a lot of people are. Numbskull was texting me throughout the day on Discord. He's like, which one of these are standard legal? Is this card standard legal? What is that? What is this symbol? I was like, all right, we just got to hash this out, man. He's at work wondering.
I was like, somebody help me because I missed this stream because I was doing other stuff. So I didn't really know what all Wizards had going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yes, I think I can comfortably say, that we have the resources available to get a grasp on what's going to happen. And additionally, I think we can communicate that at least somewhat confidently to you guys.
Yeah. So we're going to try to go over some of this Thunder Junction stuff. We're going to try to mostly go over mechanics more than specific cards. If you want to see our top 10 picks, probably the week before we relaunch, usually about 7 days before we launch in April. And of course, for our arena players, it is going to hit arena on the 16th. So I know that's going to be a big question. April 16th is when it's hitting arena.
And I think it hits 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And about 3 weeks. Yeah. 3 weeks from right now, actually. Yeah. Cool.
And I think it hits store shelves. I think we're going to be hitting store shelves after. I think that's going to be on the 18th.
Oh, this is going to be an after one. Okay.
For all you paper plays. Not long after. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the pre-release is going to be 12th. If you want to go to like your local game store is going to be on the 12th for pre-release stuff.
Okay.
We have not heard or been invited to, this is the other announcement, any kind of early streamer access streamer event. It does appear that it is canceled and they aren't doing it. I don't know if they're ever going to bring it back. Because we would have already been invited to the Discord to start talking about the streamer event.
Well, something I heard is that they're doing an early access on MTGO.
They are? Okay. Oh, for all 10 MTGO players. That's great.
and I don't know what the parameters of that are, and I don't know. I know they're going to try to make standard more relevant on that platform. Because people don't get MTGO to buy standard cards. So I'm not entirely sure what the intention of that is, but I did hear about it, and I think it's going to be a very select few people. So it won't be a larger scale event.
Yeah.
Which
is disappointing. I really love those events. They were great.
Yeah.
Let me get out a lot of content and put it out for everyone, and
definitely
deck videos and builds and really explore it. I do miss those, and I think we talked about previously that Wizards then, after firing that guy Jesse Hill, rip the GOAT right there, they put out an ad. Oh, we need a community organizer. We need a community outreach manager at Wizards. So probably going to rehire one at a smaller salary, I would imagine. Not that I'm bad mouthing you, Wizards of the Coast. Please don't blackball us. But just that, hey, I know what time it is there. So maybe we'll get one for Bloomborough. I don't know. I would love to do those again. They were probably one of the most fun times in.
It was great. Yeah.
Magic. So that's where we're at. In case you're wondering if we're gonna do a preview, we have not heard anything. Maybe they'll surprise us with an email. Maybe not.
Yeah.
But Thunder Junction is coming. I am very much looking forward to washing away the mild oatmeal that was Karlov Manor and get into some real spicy Wild West cactus gunslinging, hard fighting, hard farting, bean toting.
Hard farting.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking forward to this gunslinger shit. So we're gonna get into it today. We're gonna get into it tonight because I've been dreaming about this set for. I've wished they've had a Magic Wild West steampunk style set probably since the 90s. I've been talking about them doing one. So that was a while ago for all you people at home. That was a while ago that I've been hoping for this one. So we're gonna get into it.
I'll be honest. I thought Karlov Manor was pretty good. The only thing I wasn't a huge fan of was the play packs. Felt like there was nothing good in there.
Yeah.
But you gave me Vein Ripper. I'm not gonna talk shit. I'm just gonna let it be.
Vein Ripper was outsizedly good.
Yeah.
For that. I mean, if it didn't have Vein Ripper and War Leader's Call, I probably just started playing Hearthstone. So those two cards kept me in the game pretty much. So yeah. I thought I was not a big fan of Karlov. I found it kind of boring.
Fair enough.
Not terrible, but bland. I think there should be a distinction. I did not think it was a bad set.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it just was underpowered and a little bit bland. I think that the flavor was a little bit of a miss. It should have probably been set in New Capenna to give it more of a gangster cops and robbers flair. Ravnica to me has always been a little different than that. I don't know why they did that, but
yeah.
I mean, they had references to like film noir movies in the cards, like The Long Goodbye, which is like a film noir gangster movie, detective, and then they said it in Ravnica, not their film noir gangster gangster setting. So
that's definitely interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. It would be like, I'm glad they did Thunder Junction. Getting back to our point, Thunder Junction is a completely new world.
Yeah,
from what I understand lore wise, it's a plane that we've never been to. It's an outlet. It's like an outpost on the outlands of the Omen Paths and Magic. So this is completely new. They didn't try to say, oh, it's going to be Zendikar Wild West, which I think also would have been a flavor fail.
It's like kind of lazy. Also.
Yeah, so it's completely new. We got all kind of stuff, which is I think why we have such complex systems and complex releases. There's a lot to go over in Thunder Junction.
Yeah.
So that being said, before we get into some of this mechanics and previews and all this stuff, why don't we say thanks to our patrons, because we are patron funded. Yeah,
let's do that.
Let's do that.
I feel like you did them last time, so let me pull up the page. Hopefully it doesn't make me log in. Okay, we're good. And it's audience I go to, right? I always
audience and active. You got to be active to get read out. You can't just join and be like, well, I'm not giving you. And it's as little $1. Listen, guys, it's a little as $1 a month.
Yeah,
$1 a month or $1 an episode if you want to support all this content that you're getting, all this analysis. We try to put at least 2 out every month, 2 episodes out. But you're getting a lot of good content. It is completely viewer funded. We don't make much from the ad revenue for this. It's mostly, we split it, and also we fund the studio. And
you get early access to the episodes too.
Yes, you do.
Which I think is relevant.
You get early access. We also do have a Discord where we post deck lists, pictures, other stuff. We have a private Discord as well for Black Council members. And we're gonna have to think of some other rewards too to get you.
Yeah, well, and sometimes we occasionally post like other decks on there as well, which that's
we put bonus footage up too for patrons as well. So it is an interesting it is something. So if you want to help support us, hey, even if you only want to do a month or 2 months, you say I'll give them $2.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll let you to it, Numbskull. If you want to read out our supporters, you also get your names right out in the credits.
Yep. Okay, here we go. So we got our 21 patrons still going strong there. Thank you to Metal Mechanic, Eclipse, Notorious D, Deadfast, Frank E, Argent Icon, W. Taylor, The Clash, a live action RPG, Lars Van Breems, Xylo Beast, Jamel, Trexodactyl, Lord Gypticus, The Flipticus, Mamulian, Cassius, Nickel Nuts, H-Man, Ulfear, Dante Valentine, Clever Sound, and of course, our favorite Paradabo, a pair of them, not just
one Dabo, but a whole pair of Dabos.
There are two of these guys.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so thank you all so much for patrons for supporting us. Patreon.com/Black Council. You'll see a bunch of links in the live chat and in the description and in the pinned comment. Come on, support us, join, and become a Black Council member. It is a council. We actually also do ask you what you want to see, and we've done that a couple times when we do our lore videos. We ask people what kind of lore videos, what kind of exploration you want to see, and we try to do that as well. So
the Discord's pretty legit, and if nothing else, there's a lot of there are some pretty knowledgeable Magic players in there to just bounce ideas off of. And everyone's friendly, so by all means,
we keep it good. We keep it nice. So also I want to say, what was that? I pulled up the stats. Biggest council episode of all time, by the way. Last episode, most viewed episode of all time, even bigger than our debut episode, was our last one. That was Vampires of Chicago. That was our MagicCon review and our Black Vampire Championship build, which actually I believe is the build that you took in paper to Chicago.
Yeah. Played it in paper, and it basically won me a booster box out there, which is great.
So yeah, Murderer's Row, I called it, because famous Chicago.
Okay, I remember you were saying that.
Yeah. So it's Vampires of Chicago. The Mono Black deck build, the MagicCon Chicago preview. That was episode 50. Yeah, it was our 50th.
50. Yep, I just pulled it up. Yep. Episode 50. We are at
2,000, I think, or damn near.
Where do I see the views? I know you have the analytics better than me.
I think it's about.
Doesn't it show me the views? Do I have
just shy of 2,000?
We got 56 likes, which is pretty good. We usually don't get that many likes.
And no dislikes, of course.
You said how many?
I think it's got about 2,000.
No, how many dislikes?
Oh, none. It's
no dislikes.
Because you can't see them anymore, so everyone just goes, I have no dislikes on this video.
Oh, it doesn't even tell you how many you have, even if you have.
Oh, I see it. Yeah, I see how many. But the joke is that people always tell content creators,
wow, no dislikes. My video
everyone
perfect.
must love this video. So
that's awesome. It doesn't tell me how many views for some reason, but that's okay.
We're about 50 shy of 2,000. So about 2,000.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
But yeah, it was our biggest episode ever, which is very exciting and just shows the growth that we're going through here.
And I thought it was funny. Didn't we not really even do that well in the like when we played the games?
We did. We kept losing by one. We did win with you. When I started playing, I started winning. That was like the last two when I took the deck. But we kept getting screwed at the end when you were running it. They would pull out, so they would be like, have one last counter spell or one last board wipe, and it would be, we kept losing. It's a pretty funny games. We kept cracking up because we were like, oh, no way, unless he has a board wipe followed by a direct removal and a counter spell, that's the only way he's getting. And of course, the guy would
and they would have that every time.
Yeah, they would pull it out every time. So but it's a really fun episode. If you missed it, go check it out. If you were a member, you could have seen it early. So
And we don't want to make it seem like we're gloating. We're actually just incredibly thankful that this many people watched it, and also just want to thank you guys for always showing up. You know what I mean?
To enormous support.
To watch our shit. Hitting the like button on Jay's. Well, and when you watch one of Jay's YouTube videos, you're kind of forced to because of the like and subscribe. But we're glad that you're following directions, at least. And equally, it's important. It's important that we get a decent amount of views on these videos, just so that YouTube Just like how the algorithms work. Things like
exactly.
that.
It's what I always tell my viewers. It's an order for more episodes.
Yeah,
you say I want more of this. That's what
it shows YouTube. Hey, people care about this stuff.
Yeah,
that's relevant and that's important. So we definitely want to get something out of that while we can, but at the same time we appreciate you guys watching it even when we're not even getting that many views, or sorry, we're not even winning that many games, and you guys still cared to watch it. But now we're getting a lot of views.
We're having fun and we're doing builds, and it's collaborative. We would like to see your version of the deck as well. So
we're ecstatic that you guys liked it, man.
Yeah, we're super happy about that, and we're happy about the people liking the podcast. So that all being said, well, let's giddy up.
Yeah, let's do it.
Giddy up.
Before we get into that, should we talk about the art thing first, just before we go into the
art thing? Well, let's do Thunder Junction, and we'll see where that fits.
Okay.
Yeah,
right,
we'll wait on that.
Okay.
I don't want to. We've teased them for quite a bit here.
We don't want to have to put the timestamp too far back to when we actually start the episode, huh?
By the way, there's going to be timestamps. So the way that time works, since you can move around the video, you can
see the way time is set up.
Yeah, time is linear, and you can go forward and backwards.
At least in videos.
In videos, you can in real life. Maybe you can. I don't know. Not yet, but. So if you're tired of this BS, I'm gonna put timestamps. You can always jump ahead. But yeah, Thunder Junction, a lot of stuff going on. Here it is. This is the Wild West Outlaws, Gravediggers, and Gunslingers set. It's finally here. It's coming out. I want to ask you the first thing. Let's do a meta analysis.
Okay.
Everybody knows how probably I feel. How do you feel about a Wild West cowboy themed set in Magic cards? Let's go. What are your thoughts on that?
What I'll say is, before I looked at the cards, at no point did I really have a problem with it. I just would maybe say that I wasn't outwardly excited about anything. But now that we have some of these cards that I'm seeing, I'm kind of excited, man. I think it's cool. I think there are a ton of useful cards, a ton of cool mechanics. And I think that some of it can be a little convoluted and confusing. And I think that it'll definitely be a really big thing when Standard rotates. I think it'll just make Standard a lot less convoluted than because it's a little convoluted right now. Because we just have so many sets, so many cards. You're not used to worrying about all these cards. And I think by the time it rotates, we're going to have at least one more set after this, one or two more. I think one more.
Bloomborough is the rotation set. In Arena, we're going to have the Assassin's Creed set over the summer for Alchemy, but for Standard, Bloomborough is the rotation.
And Bloomborough is the one after this, correct?
Yeah, Bloomborough is the one after this. So
got it. So this is when we go through that summer period where there's no Standard release. Yeah. And then towards the end of summer, we have that release that is also rotation.
Yeah. This is going to be the most bloat we're going to have in the game right now. It's going to be the most available cards in Standard.
Yeah.
I think ever.
Ever, yeah.
Yeah, ever. So we're going to have 12 legal sets.
And this is going to be a hell of a set to just round it all out.
Oh, yeah. It's the most rootin' tootin' cowboy shooting set that you ever did see. Yeah.
And that's the biggest reason that we're here today, because we thought that, people kind of needed that, people may have questions, and we can hopefully just make a video that answers a bunch of them off the bat.
Because there's a bunch of releases, and as what we were talking about before that I can jump into.
Yeah.
Okay, well, how do you feel about the flavor? Like, are you upset? I know some people are like, cowboys are stupid. It shouldn't be in here. There shouldn't be Wild West and Magic. That's dumb. It's a fantasy game. Where do you fall on that? On that line?
I think it kind of lines. It lines up with the. If you look at where Wizards has gone in the past, even just the last year, we've been doing the Universes Beyond. Of course, none of those have been standard legal. You got Transformers, you got Doctor Who. We just had Fallout. You were talking about Assassin's Creed. We're gonna have Marvel eventually.
Final Fantasy,
all kinds of shit. The big thing for me is that I think that Wizards realized, hey, dude, we've been doing this for over 30 years now. And eventually, we can't just keep going back to the same planes that we started with. And I don't want to say that they limited themselves with the planes. There's plenty of planes, but you can't just keep making new planes because that means you're just running out of, or like you're just like changing the rules to have new ideas. You know what I mean? So you can't just keep making new planes. So why don't you start to branch out and try to have these new ideas? You have Murders at Karlov Manor, so you started this somewhat of a theme of mystery and crime, and then that sets up this Wild West thing, about whatever. And I think because it is the Wild West, and with some of the card choices that have been released, I think you may see that it actually opens things up to be a lot of different stuff. And it's not just like cowboys, and it's more than cowboys, it's more than just like cowboys and cops and robbers and like Native Americans. It really doesn't have much to do with that, in my opinion, at all, other than like the random characters wearing cowboy hats. And I think that's just like a flavor art thing. It's not really, so it's not like it's like we're having like a freaking Red Dead Redemption set. It's not like that. Well, which I do think that's a great game, first of all, but it's not like that at all. Once you look at some of these cards, and like we said, we're gonna do a spoiler episode, which that'll come later because there's not quite enough cards for us to
we'll do a top 10 as we normally do.
But once you see that, and I mean, at this point, by the time you're watching this, you probably either looked at or been told about or seen some of the cards already, so it's just like, yeah, fine, that they're not that what people were maybe worried about isn't what they're going for. So, and because of that, like I said, to kind of go back to the original point, at first I was just like, whatever, maybe I just like won't be that excited about it, and it'll just be a standard set, and screw it, I have enough cards that I care about in standard now, and if the set bombs, then so be it, because there's good enough cards that I enjoy, there's decks I like playing, so I'm not really worried if it's not that good of a set. But now that I'm seeing what I'm seeing, I'm like, dude, this is pretty cool. I think the mechanics are fun, and I think that it's a good direction, and it's a good way to kind of like fully round out standard. But it is going to be convoluted, and you're going to need to pay attention.
We have a bunch of new mechanics. We have what I would call meta mechanics in this, which is mechanics that affect mechanics. So if we have regular game mechanics, and then we have new outside ultra meta mechanics that are, these are what they mean when they mean this new mechanic. Like, we have a lot of stuff to go over, so we're going to try to parse through all that. For sure. And I mean, everybody knows where I fall on the flavor. I think it's fantastic. I think it's something it should have done a long time ago. I think it was steampunk and all this stuff. To me, the Wild West is so mythologized already. The American West is so steeped in mythology. Like, if you look at, like, I mean, even in school, we learned about tall tales. Pico's Bill ropes a tornado. You know what I mean? Paul Bunyan was a giant, and he had a giant blue ox. And, you know, him dragging a axe behind him is how the Grand Canyon was made. Johnny Appleseed was this guy who planted apples. You have these Wild West myth that always had a touch of magic and mysticism and mythology in them.
That's true.
You know,
That's true.
in telling these tall tales, Paul
Yeah.
Bunyan and or rather what was it, John Henry? You know, where
Yeah.
he was the
Yeah.
biggest guy he was the strongest man in the world and could he could out hammer the machine and building the railroad. And you know, you had these kind of flashy outlaws and legends and things like that. So I feel like flavor wise, it's not that far off from, you know, there's always been that kind of tall tales and mythological monsters out west. And
it's always been that kind of like unknown.
Exactly.
Which, you know, when like America was first being discovered, that's basically it was all unknown out there. And we need to consider that with Magic, we're actually, because we're in the multiverse, you're actually in a whole other universe. So you're not in like the 1800s Wild West, when it was like Trail of Tears, Native Americans, like, you know, like colonization and stuff like that, which obviously that was like terrible stuff. But like, because we're in a multiverse, this is a different universe that has like never really dealt with any of that. Or like just doesn't have to go
and
into that.
It's always going to be a fantastical version of some sort of history. If you look at Dominaria, okay, well, it's castles and knights and kings. But it's not based on medieval Europe with peasantry and massacres and, you know.
Exactly.
It's they're not trying to illuminate that, you know, it's there's a lot of ugliness in history. This is a story. This is a fairy tale about those times. And I don't obviously, I'm not trying to say, oh, it excuses that, you know, we want to whitewash it or this is not the proper it would be disrespectful if we tried to address it in this frame, because it's a card game at the end of the day. There's dark subjects, but you know, the same way that I don't think Dominaria is like, well, how come you're not talking about, you know, the real medieval suffering of peasants and the abuse of kings and you know, the issues of medieval times, because you have knights and castles and dragons and griffins. It's a mythologized version of the past. So
I think we have like abuses of power as like part of the story, just because that's like a natural thing of like hierarchies of power in general.
It's a narrative device.
So that's fine. But yeah, we don't, you know, I just think that within this universe, it's already set up where stuff like that wasn't happening. There may be other bad stuff that happened as part of the story, but because we're not even in the same universe as the United States of America, I think that we can just leave it alone. You know what I mean? And just save the actual historical discussion for a different time. And you can feel how you want to feel about that. I know I personally have strong opinions about the Trail of Tears and displacement of Native Americans.
Of course.
Being Taino myself, like obviously I feel some type of way about that, but I don't play Magic to get into that with people.
Exactly. And again, it's not the right, it is an important discussion. This is not the right framework, because this is an unserious framework when you're having skeleton monsters and fairy guys and
a dude named Yargle.
There's the
fucking cookie monster.
You know, they're disparate ideas. It is a card game. It is a piece of fiction. I mean, we could write that about any fiction. If I watch a war movie, we can talk about oh well, the war movie, you know, World War II is terrible. Of course it is, but this is entertainment.
And Magic is entertaining.
And it's I do think I think it's funny that they sidestepped the issue in the narrative, that they said, you know, the Omen Path's Thunder Junction was literally empty. There's just no people there. There's nothing. There's just animals. So they kind of just said, there's
might have been a little bit of like a cop out, but I felt like
but at the same time, how are they going to respectfully approach that?
Well, it's tough. And given how it was going, once you announce that, they're like, you know what? We're just going to give you nothing.
Yeah.
We're going to give you nothing to go off of.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see some awesome cards then. Let's see some awesome mechanics. And so far we are seeing that. So I'm not mad.
Yeah, and and we might get a little bit of that with cactus folk, because there appears to be sentient cactus that live out there, which is an interesting
you say what? Catholic?
Cactus.
Okay.
Cactus folk. There's people who are literal cactuses.
Cacti.
Cacti?
Yeah.
Cactusi?
Cactus. I think it's just cacti.
What about cactusi?
Oh, well, always.
Always, yeah.
Just,
well,
find the right spots in the cactusy.
Yeah.
It's a little prickly.
Yeah. Well, it's a little bit helps. So that all being said, the heavy and the dark, interesting. I still think that I think it's fun. I think people are gonna like it. And there's a lot. So one of the things, like I said before, Numbskull was asking me during the day, he's like, what the hell is legal in standard right now? So we actually have, I'll put it up on the screen, we actually have 5, count them, 5 symbol expansions for Thunder Junction. So there's you're going to see a cowboy hat, which is going to be the Outlaws of Thunder Junction OTJ. Then you're going to see OTC, which is a white cowboy hat with a shield. That's the commander only. Okay. Then you're going to get the breaking news set, which looks like a little jail cell with a lock on it. All right, that's a whole other thing. The breaking news is going to be the those are like the ones that look like typeset, like a newspaper.
Yeah, like it kind of like those wanted. The one was seemed like it was a legit wanted poster.
No, the wanted posters. We're gonna get to that. The breaking news is different. Those are the newspapers, not the wanted posters.
Okay.
Then we have Big, which is the expansion set for OTJ, which is called Big, and that looks like a bank vault. That is the big score. Okay, and that ties in with the story. What is the story? Oko, Thief of Crowns, is putting together a team. He's pulling a heist. He's pulling together a team which includes Tiny Bones and Rakdos and Kellen and all kind of crazy stuff. And they're trying to find the big score, which is a mythical treasure trove and gold and everything like that. And the cards from OTJ Big are the things that are in the treasure trove, which includes one that everyone is very excited about, Sword of Wealth and Power. There's a Vault-Born Tyrant that's a dinosaur. There's a Transmutation Pawn. There's a Nexus of Becoming. There's the Ultimate Matter Weaver. There's a Torpor Orb. There's all kind of stuff in the vault and the big score. This was originally going to be, believe it or not, I saw a thing from Mark Rosewater. This was going to be a Magic the Gathering Aftermath. Remember All Will Be One Aftermath? It was going to be like a supplemental 30 or 40 card set. And they said, fuck it. It's the big score now. It's coming out at the same time. It is standard legal.
Nice.
It is the representative of what they are trying to find. It's a mythical mana vault. It's almost like Borderlands. You know how Borderlands, everyone was searching for the vault, which is like this place with like unimaginable treasure and wealth. That's what they're looking for. So, and I'm not even done yet. There's one more, which is Special Guest, which is a star, a 5-pointed star, looks like a sheriff star. That is not standard legal. Those are some of the additional special guests that'll be showing up in Outlaws of Thunder Junction. So we're mostly, because we're standard players, we're mostly going to be focusing on those. I don't think we're going to be reviewing very many. Like Commander stuff. We don't really do too much Commander on this channel.
Yeah.
But maybe we'll take a look at them. There's a few that I wish there was, like the new
Olivia.
Yeah, Olivia Voldaren. I wish there was in standard. She is a commander. She's a Mardu commander.
That'd definitely be a cool commander though for Mardu command. She would be a cool commander. I'll give.
Well, she is. They're making a whole precon.
She's gonna have a precon. Okay,
she's got her own precon.
Beautiful. I love it. Yeah. Maybe I'll buy it. If it's not like $60.
Honestly, I might buy it too. I found the Clavileño, the Vito and Clavileño from Ixalan. I bought that one, and that was like $45. So I was like, all right, whatever. Yeah,
I bought it too. Pretty solid.
Yeah. I was pretty happy with it because like the cards in it are at least worth that. Like you. Yeah,
getting an exquisite blood in there was great.
Exactly. This is worth it just to get the cards, not from reprints and everything like that. So.
The OTJ, which is like the main one,
Mm-hmm.
And then the one with the vault lock, those are the standard sets.
Those are going to be the standard set.
Got it. And then the other 3, they're all going to be Commander legal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it looks like Legacy and Vintage.
Mm-hmm.
And then in other singleton formats, it looks like you can play in the one-ofs. Okay. And then I'm seeing here the play boosters are going to have all 5 of those.
Yeah, there's going to be, you're going to get like you're going to get one from a sheet. So you get like a vault, a guest star. It's going to be a little smattering of everything.
I kind of don't love that for how many cards are in it, because like I would be kind of pissed. Like I would be kind of pissed if I got a bunch of cards that I would like never play.
Yeah, because at least
I mean, I guess that happens a lot, but like I don't even have a chance to get a bunch of cards that I could play.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't mind if I showed up with vault cards because they're standard legal, but when you're giving me, you're giving me big scorecards, that's fine. But if you want to give me just commander only cards in there, I'm not crazy about. And I guess just raw vintage. I mean, they did it with what was that called? Arcane Library, or was it Mystic Library? They did it a couple times where you got Mystic Library stuff. It wasn't.
Well, they always have list cards, and list cards are fine because it's like one. But I guess maybe it'll matter like what are the divisions of all of that going to be? Because now we have 3 different subsets, if you will, of cards that we might not actually use. Which what I will say is for the draft format could be really good.
That's going to be interesting. Yeah, it might illuminate more draft format. And I think they are worried about draft format because they've said if draft is like in danger of disappearing. They're not helping it with the freaking play boosters. So, so that's understandable. But yeah, so I guess I'm worried about that. Maybe I'll have to be mindful, and maybe I'm not going to be buying a ton of. I didn't buy a ton of individual packs of Karlov Manor, even when I was in Chicago and I had a chance. I could have got a Karlov Manor box, but I chose not to just because I was not interested in.
I got an Eldraine box instead because it had a lot of good, like prints of older cards and like all the anime art and stuff that was valuable. So I went for that, try to get a little cash off of it. And I did okay. But yeah, so I might not buy a ton of packs, maybe get a collector booster just to see if I get anything crazy valuable. Maybe get that Olivia Commander precon.
I am for this one because I'm very interested in it. I think I'm going to buy the beginner box that comes with the box toppers. It automatically comes with a certain cards. Okay. And 8 packs and some like premium showcase art.
Oh, it's the gift box.
Yeah, the gift box. I really like the gift boxes. I feel like they're a good value because
I usually get one of those every set. I'm not gonna lie because they're just like fun.
They're fun, and it's also another box to hold cards in, which is honestly something I need desperately.
Box to hold cards in. You get the Thunder Junction D20.
You get the Thunder Junction D20. You get tokens. You get tokens,
lands, foil lands. It's decent value.
You get a decent. I probably get that, and I might be tempted to get the Mardu Olivia Voldair, and that is very
reasonable.
tempting. Yeah,
I'll definitely have to see all the other cards that come out too to see what I'm hunting for.
Yeah, I'd have to see the full list. So I'm interested. I'm stoked for this one. I want to gauge everyone else's. If leave in the comments or in the chat where your hype level is at. How stoked are you? What do you think about it? Because we want to take some feedback and maybe talk about it some more and talk about it in our top 10 as well. So the other thing is we want to talk about, like we said, the mechanics and the meta mechanics going on in the game. And I think that the most interesting, we talked about one being that there's the big score being like an additional mini set coming out simultaneously. That's going to be fun. 40 standard legal. Yeah, that would be fun. And the next one, let's talk about the meta mechanic. This is called batch. This is a new mechanic in the game. It is a mechanical keyword they've hinted that is going to be used again. I don't think they would come up with a whole thing for it if they didn't plan on using batch again. And what batch is? The batch, quote unquote, we have for this set is Outlaw. Why? Because we're in the Wild West, and the Wild West is ruled by outlaws. So, what are outlaws? Everything that is an assassin, mercenary, pirate, rogue, and warlock are an outlaw. That is a super type of 5 different creature types. So if something says all outlaws you control get +1/+1, that applies across all 5 creature types, which is a very broad variety. You could have a pirate deck. That means like you could have a pirate and rogue deck, which is very different. You could have an Izzet pirate rogue and have outlaw mechanics in it. You could have an assassin warlock deck and make it be ninjas, which is very different. Like, you know.
Yeah. And we're introducing mercenaries too, which I think will be relevant.
Yeah, mercenaries as well. So batch is an interesting thing. And I'm trying to think in the future, what else could they add for batch? Because they add a batch that's like hero, and it's like all knights, nobles, and whatever, you know what I mean? They're like or all the nature batch is going to be druids, rangers, and witches, or you know, something like that. Like what other types could they batch to create kind of a super mechanic for tribal decks going forward? As a big tribal player, I'm interested in that. Like that that seems like you have a lot of, or you could say an arcane batch, and it's wizards, warlocks, you know, and artifacts are the arcane batch. So, you know, you could do a lot with that, and it's an interesting way of categorizing and taking old mechanics, because obviously there's pirates and rogues from, you know, sets a long time ago, 10-20 years ago, that you can incorporate into this outlaw mechanic that would find a home in Outlaws at Thunder Junction, just because they're included in the batch. So yeah, that's an interesting change, and I'm interested to see, not even just for this one for Outlaws, but I'm interested to see where it goes in the future, you know?
Yeah, interesting there, and also it definitely makes you a lot less limited with your, because like not all tribes were good all the time, but now you can make it where like when you combine certain ones, it'll make them good now, and you can have combinations and interactions that you might not normally have had, which I think is great. Yeah, you know,
like I'm thinking, call it an undead batch: skeletons, zombies, vampires.
Awesome.
Undead batch, boom. You know.
Yeah.
So you have like Lord Necromancer.
You could put rogues in with it too if you really wanted.
Why not? You know. You could. So there's a lot of stuff that's a very interesting change. I think that's very smart. And I think it breathes new life into a lot of different new cards. I think it's very cool.
And I wonder, you know, we have Outlaws. Are we going to have like another one that's like the good guys? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Like Law Keepers. Would that be like? Would that be like knights?
Or I don't know what you would call them to make them not sound like cops. You know,
paladins.
Something like that. Yeah, but the paladin makes you think of a knight, though.
Exactly.
Particularly, whereas like Outlaws is just like, you know, bad guys. So like, what would be like the good guys grouping that maybe might have like angels and like, you know, dogs and I don't know, humans and just regular humans. Whatever else, you know.
What could you build off that?
Maybe you would have like, because there were a bunch of detectives in Karlov Manor, maybe you would include detectives. You know what I mean?
Exactly. You could say, there's detectives, you know, law keepers, detectives, knights, and soldiers.
Yeah, sure. There's a lot of soldiers too. Sure.
Yeah. So,
well, here, let me ask you this, Jay. So, in that one article you sent me, the Polygon one, it's saying the breaking news cards, another subset being introduced in Thunder Junction, are all crimes.
Yes, crimes is the new one. What do outlaws do? They commit crimes.
Yeah. So, and this is the question that we had earlier. The breaking news cards. Now, does that mean that all of the breaking news cards are going to be standard legal, or how's that going to work?
Yeah, I believe that they are. If they're the breaking news showcase, let me see. I don't think they are.
Okay.
Let me double check. Let me pull
because
up the
I thought
Magic
one of the mechanics was committing a crime.
So, okay, the breaking news cards are all reprint. They're legal, so they're as OTJ sealed and draft.
Oh, okay.
I don't think that the breaking are all reprints. I don't think that they're standard legal. I think they're draft and sealed for breaking news. Big Score is the standard legal ones. Breaking news are the non-standards.
Got it. Okay.
And then there's
I see that now. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's the like lock thing.
Yeah,
I got it. Okay.
Yeah. So there's two symbols. The breaking news are the little jail cell. And the vault is the one. So one is like a set for standard, one is like a bonus set for whatever. Yeah.
So then in that case, I saw cards that said like, oh, well, when you commit a crime, then this happens. But if that's the case,
there's other crimes. There's other crimes.
Oh, there
besides, yeah. So
okay, good.
First let's see what committing a crime is. Committing a crime is any time that you target a opponent's permanence. Cool. Removing, enchanting, you are committing a crime. If you are directly interacting with a permanent on the board, as far as I understand, that's committing a crime, and that will trigger whatever that. You commit a crime right from the Magic website. You commit a crime as you cast a spell, activate an ability, or put a triggered ability on the stack that targets one or more of the following: an opponent, and a spell or ability an opponent controls, a permanent an opponent controls. So basically any interaction, whether it be from a spell or ability, even stuff that is on the stack. So counterspelling is a crime.
Counterspells are now crimes, guys.
Well, they always were, but now we're legally recognizing that.
Yeah, just think about that the next time you want to do it.
Yeah, you double think about it. So anytime that you're gonna interact is now technically a crime. And so if you have something that says when you commit a crime, create a somebody gets +2. For example, Magda, the Horde Master, is we haven't seen her since Kaldheim. Whenever you commit a crime, create a tap treasure token. It only goes off once. So anytime that you're going to interact, you're going to get a free treasure token, which is a great way to treasure it up. Yeah. So interestingly enough, that is a new mechanic. Crime is now a mechanic. Wizards of the Coast would like you to know that this is only a game mechanic. Do they not encourage you to actually go commit crimes anywhere? They said that in the live stream. I'm sure the lawyers told them. Don't tell people, commit crimes. That's the best way to make your deck good, is go out and commit crimes.
Why'd you lose? Didn't commit enough crimes.
Not enough crime.
The secret ingredient is crime.
The secret ingredient. That's I'll have to make a deck called that.
Have you've seen that video, right?
I have, yeah.
That's my favorite internet quote.
And the subsequent means, yeah.
Yeah.
It is always the secret ingredient.
Yeah. That's cool though. I think basically you're like causing triggers from interaction, which even decks that don't interact, but then when they do interact, like, they don't interact with the board, but they interact with like everything else. You know what decks I'm talking about?
Yeah.
They are going to get penalized now.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. It could be that they penalize. It could be that you set it up for advantages. You could say, I have a crime deck. I'm trying to interact as much as possible. Or you say, if you have somebody that's playing control and they're all hitting removal and counter spells, and every time they commit a crime, you get a 1/1 token, it's going to de-incentivize that, So we'll have to wait and see how that shakes out.
It looks like some of the cards actually encourage you to do crimes.
Yeah, they encourage you to do crimes, and so do we.
So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Like the new Gisa, however you say it.
Yeah.
You get tokens whenever you commit a crime. Once a turn. That's fun. That's not bad,
Yeah.
Whenever you commit, there's another one where you can commit a crime and you can untap this mana rock. So that's interesting too. You can get extra mana for committing crimes.
Exactly.
That's fun.
Yeah, it's very much Outlaws, Gunslingers type of thing. Not so much cattle ranching, but more, you know, gun toting, and cigar smoking. Yeah.
I noticed there's a scorpion dragon now too.
There's all kind of weird stuff. And another
like
mechanic that came back, if I can easily segue into something here.
Sure.
Deserts.
Yeah.
So we have deserts now. We can't talk about the Wild West without doing deserts. So you have pain lands that when they enter the battlefield, it deals damage to an opponent. I believe those are desert reprints from the Amonkhet, if I remember correctly. I might be wrong about that. Correct me if I'm wrong. But when they come in tapped and then they deal a damage, so they're ping lands for your opponent, but they come in tapped. And not only that, they've included desert in the mechanic of some cards. For example, the green card, which everyone was talking about, Colossal Rattleworm, is a 6/5 trample for 2 green and 2. So that is a 6/5 trample for 4 mana.
Oh, that one. Yeah, dude.
Not bad.
And it lets you like go get a desert if it's in your graveyard.
So
at, like instant speed.
You have 2 options with it. It has flash if you control a desert.
Yeah.
So if they're swinging in, you can immediately put down. People are talking about. They're saying it's green, green Wandering Emperor, because if they have 4 free, immediately a 6/5 just bursts out of the ground.
Yeah.
So yeah, they swing in, immediately put down Colossal Reservoir only if you have a desert. So desert mechanics, it's not only just a card, it integrates with some of the creatures. And then of course you can exile it from your graveyard, search your library for a desert, put it on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. That won't matter if you find a desert that pings somebody for a damage, it's already going to come in tapped. So you can actually pay 2 to do 1 damage to your opponent, which can win you a game, believe it or not.
It's helpful. And I was playing a little Explorer the other day, and I saw that there are some older deserts on Arena too.
Yes. Yeah.
So that might see
there was
some
like
play
Desert of the Faithful. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw one. It was like you tap 2, and I think you sack it, and you exile the opponent's graveyard. I thought that was a cool desert to have. So I like bringing that back, and I like putting more of them in. I like that they didn't make them too powerful by like making them rares and letting them come in untapped somehow. But it's also kind of cool with like remember how what was it? The ones like you have those lands that come in tapped, you gain a life. And now it's like the opposite. So I like that, like in the Wild West, like kind of like a thing where like everything you,
go after
everything
you.
hurts you.
Yeah.
It's like an undiscovered thing. I like that we're going along with that, and I think that the deserts, I think that lines up.
The desert is harsh.
Yeah. Harsh.
Yeah.
Unforgiving.
Unknown.
So you're gonna come across stuff that just fucks you up.
Yeah.
It's part of it because you've never seen it before.
Exactly. But the desert is a harsh place.
Yeah. And you might come across a 6/5 worm.
You might.
With flash.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's cool, Kim. And then I know you saw you said I was messaging you. We're not gonna just go over all the cards. I won't even say the name of the card, but there's also an instant speed board wipe now.
Oh no, yeah, the card that shall not be named. Well, that's a new mechanic. We have to talk about the mechanic.
Oh, we will talk about the mechanic. It's one of the cards I did examine this a little bit. I can go over this one if you like.
Spree.
Yeah, it's the spree.
It's a new mechanic. Yeah.
And it's just like I'm sure. I think we've talked about like everything's kicker. Everything's either kicker or not kicker.
Yeah.
This is like kicker, but like extra, because you can do it up to 3 times on one card. You will pay the initial cost to cast these spree cards, and I think almost all the sprees are like 1 mana to start. And then depending what you add more mana. Oh, and it looks like some of them might only have 2 extra options, which is whatever. But I think the red one actually looks really good. And I think a lot of them are instants, but there might be 1 or 2 that are sorceries. But basically the spree mechanic Each time it'll say choose one or more additional costs. So you have to choose one. I mean, technically you don't have to choose one. I don't think, right?
No, I don't think you have to at least pay the thing. You have to at least pay.
You pay the minimum, because I'm thinking like this could like work with Storm too.
Yeah.
But you pay the initial 1 mana to cast it, and then depending which mode of the 2 to 3 modes on the card, you can pick one or all. And they each have a separate mana cost. So you're and they all say plus whatever. So it's the initial and then whichever one you want to choose, 1 up to 3. You pay that additional mana for each one.
And I think you have to choose one. So like if it's black, you have to choose one of the options. It's just a huge amount of modal. But if you have the like Great Train Heist, looking at the red spree card,
that one's ridiculous.
It's 1 red. It either creates a treasure, or it gets +1 in first strike, or untap all creatures you control, and there's another combat. So you have a crazy amount of stuff that you could do here.
Instant speed, extra combat phase.
Yeah,
that's really something.
And that only for that extra combat plays, by the way, is only 2 red and 2 to get an extra combat.
It's 4 mana. When maybe it's late game and Oppo thinks they can take all of your attacks because they're going to untap and win.
Yeah.
And you top deck that card. That's really something. And it definitely makes mono red better and more relevant. And
of course,
we'll have to be mindful of that.
Of course.
Yeah, so that, and then
we have plot.
Okay, yeah, plot. Go ahead.
Plot. We have the plot mechanic. Plot basically allows you to pay in advance a thing. So if it says exile and recast from not as mana cost, so basically you can plot something, which is essentially like Slick Shot Show Off right here. It's a flying in haste. You can plot it for its mana cost. You can exile it, cast it as a sorcery on a later turn without paying. So you're basically paying it. It's waiting in suspense. Everything is lined up to play it. And then boom, you can play it when you need it. So it's kind of, you have a card. It's not so much a trap card because I think you have to show them, but that you've plotted, you've set up another play just in case. So like you could suspend like a burn card or an instant creature or something like that.
I don't know if you have to show it to him, dude.
Do you? You don't have to? Oh, it exiles it, right?
It exiles it, but it doesn't say like reveal it, and like it almost feels like foretelling to me.
Yeah, it's kind of like
foretelling, but you pay the full cost instead
Yeah.
of paying like 2 less if you foretold it.
We'll have to wait on that. Yeah, and I'm gonna need some more clarity on that. Yeah.
Because if I exile it and it's not already revealed, doesn't that mean that it stays?
Well, people can see the
revealed?
cards in exile though, right? Like when something gets exiled.
Well, cards can be face down in exile.
Okay. Well, we'll have to see. I'm gonna wonder how that goes out and how useful it's gonna be.
Because foretold cards would be exiled, I believe.
Yeah, they're face down.
So, the new Jace, it definitely makes the new Jace pretty broken.
Oh yeah, I'm not excited about that. Jace reawakened. I was hoping he wouldn't get his powers back, but he did. So
that's gonna be something.
The other one that we won't cover because that is a commander one, you're going to see it, is going to be the not mercenary, bounty.
Okay, that's where the bounty comes in. Got it.
That is where bounty. That is a commander decks called bounty. Bounties are optional mini games that up the stakes. So if you get bounties at the beginning of your it says, okay, if you cast a spell anywhere other than your hand, that's a bounty. You collect your reward. So there'll be like stakes and stuff like that. It's a weird thing. I don't know if it would work in. I don't think it would work in standard. It's obviously for commander, 4-person commander.
It's for multiplayer.
People are shooting for bounties and all that. So that's going to be interesting. I don't know. It's not going to be relevant to how I play Magic, but
sure.
know.
Well, let's go over. I don't know. Have you looked into it much? The saddle mechanic.
Yeah, it is going to be basically. It's creature vehicles, because it wouldn't be the Wild West if you couldn't have horses and you couldn't have mounts and you couldn't have riding. And honestly, it's been a long time coming that we haven't had the ability to specifically say, all right, this knight is going to go on this horse, or this soldier is going to go on this, he's going to ride a whatever, he's going to ride a griffin, or something like that. So it augments certain creatures by allowing characters to ride them into combat. So their Gitrog is now the Ravenous Ride. Frog, he is a frog horror mount. So they actually have the keyword mount, like vehicle. So yeah, they have their own. They are creatures on their own, but they can be used as mounts.
So they can still attack and block without being saddled.
They're like a vehicle that is already alive.
Okay,
essentially,
got it.
Because a vehicle has to be piloted. It's if it doesn't have a person in, it's empty. Gitrog is his own person, but you can jump on his back, as Thalia did. As I said on my Twitter, Thalia absolutely broke Gitrog Monster with her Thraben thighs. She got on top of him, and he realized, I just want to be ridden over and over again. I love this.
Don't hit me up if you're not trying to ride me like Thalia.
If you're not trying to ride me like fucking Thalia did in the fucking invasion, I ain't trying to hear about it. So Gitrog the frog horror mount, you can sacrifice who's saddled on him. So a creature is not piloting, they're saddled onto that person. They're using the saddle. And it's like vehicles. It's like saddle 1, saddle 2, whatever. You have to pay that amount of toughness. I think it has to be one person. I'm not sure. I don't think it'd be multiple people can ride.
I see. I
think it has one thing.
And the one saddle, does that mean that the creature's power has to at least be one? Is that
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
It's analogous. It's the same thing as vehicle cards, pretty much.
Okay.
I don't know if it's more than one person. I don't see like 2 people saddling something. Maybe they can. I don't know.
Yeah. It's the more the merrier. So that's cool. And then obviously the Gitrog creature has a pretty cool effect with that.
Yeah, he eats his rider fun. After he's done.
Yeah, and then draws the cards, put lands on the field. Mm-hmm. That's fun. As
Gitrog previously did. Yeah. So we'll have to see. There's probably going to be other mounts. There's probably going to be horses and griffins and flying mounts. Yeah. So I imagine that they're going to grow that and expand that a little bit.
And then maybe like what? So do you mount it pre-combat and then declare your attack, basically, kind of thing?
I think so. I think it's going to be basically the same thing as vehicles. I think it's going to work. Basically, so if somebody is mounting, it's Gitrog that's attacking with the mount.
Or that's like similar to what's the one where you could tap the creature to make the other creature's power higher? What was that ability?
Enlist, kind of. Yeah.
Enlist. Yeah, it's like mixing.
I think that
it combines them almost.
My theory, based on Gitrog, because we've only seen Gitrog with mount and saddle. I think that the theory is like when this creature is mounted, you have like, noble steed. When this creature is used as a mount, when it is saddled by another creature, it gets trample. So it can attack on its own as like a 3/1, but it gets trample if it's mounted. So
there's going to be some jockeys.
Yeah. So
we're going to have some creatures that will buff the ability. Yeah. So you could have like a saddle deck.
That's my thinking. And you could do a mountain vehicle deck. They're probably pretty interesting there. And of course, all the evergreen ones are coming back, Ward and Trample and all that stuff like that, and Flash and Flying and Lifelink, all that stuff.
I saw some decent Ward abilities, so that seemed cool.
Yeah, we're also getting, which is very exciting for me and perhaps for you. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe you're not that. Maybe you're not that super excited about it. But zombie support. We got Glizza.
Gisa, yeah.
Gisa, not Glizza. Gisa. Gisa the Necromancer is coming back.
Yep. She was the one that I saw that had cool ward.
Yeah, she has a big ward. She has 2 and pay 2 life.
That's good.
She is a commander. She is a captain for skeletons and zombies. And I'm glad that they're bringing skeletons into Wild West because honestly, if you don't have skeleton gunslingers, what are you even doing? If you're not going to use the skeleton gunslinger motif of a skeleton dressed in a leather vest and a cowboy hat with a 6-shooter, then why are you even doing a Wild West motif?
Doing it wrong.
You're doing it wrong if you're not doing the skeleton. So yeah, we're gonna see some zombies. And not only that, she creates zombie rogues, so they would be outlaw zombies.
They also have menace, and they get +1/+1.
Yeah, so
That's cool.
she is the Hellraiser. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I definitely like it.
Mhm.
Nice kind of lord ability there, and
Mhm.
skeletons and zombies. Are skeletons and zombies considered outlaws?
No, the zombies she
The
makes
zombies.
are rogue. They're
Oh, so that's what makes them outlaws.
yeah, but I'll
Got
tell
it.
you what, the Ixalan set made
Mhm.
pirate skeletons, which would be also
So
outlaws.
those would be considered. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so you could get
Cool.
pirate skeletons and rogue zombies, and it would all be covered by outlaws.
That's cool. Yeah, I think there's a deck to be made out of that would,
Absolutely.
if nothing else, would be very fun.
Yeah, thematically very fun, I think.
Yeah.
I also see that we saw a mercenary token.
Yep.
Yep. Let me see here. Where did I see that mercenary token?
And there's an X, and there's a red, white, an X spell to make X mercenary tokens.
Oh, so mercenaries, you tap them, and target creature you control
+1.
gets +1. Yeah, that's what a mercenary token does.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So it's like mana dork, but for
for +1,
but like for buffing.
Yeah.
And
so
I just thought, and then I think wasn't there something that said when a mercenary enters the battlefield, it does 1 damage to each opponent. I think there's a card that says that.
I think so. Yeah.
So that with like War Leader's Call, I was thinking.
Okay.
I don't want to go too far into theory crafting, but I did immediately get that idea.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Yeah.
So that's like 2 damage per, basically, like you just it's kind of like a double fireball almost, if you will. So
yeah, it is.
It's fun. It's fun. But yeah, sorry, didn't want to go too off topic. But yeah, I was getting ideas from looking at the set, and that's usually how I know it's going to be decent.
Oh yeah, when immediately your brain starts saying, "Oh wow,
Yeah.
that could combo with that. That could combo with that. That could go with this. We could do this. You could twist that around, spin it.
Yep.
Drop it down, flip it, and reverse it, as it were. That is definitely a sign of, okay, we're onto something here. We're doing something here. So
I like it.
Those are basically new mechanics, and those are the new ideas that are coming in. So there's like a lot. I feel in this set. There's like a lot going on.
Like I said, it'll get a little convoluted, but we'll we'll make it. But love it. Love some of the art I've seen.
Oh yeah, and the art.
So I wish Thoughtseize was going to be legal and standard, but that's okay.
No, not yet.
But
maybe one of these days we're gonna get to the thought seizing.
I just love a good thought seize.
I like discard. I mean, discard is discard. So we're gonna have to see. We're gonna be doing our top 10. That's still gonna be upcoming. So this is not the end of Thunder Junction previews. We're gonna, I think, the week before, usually when we have full set drop, which is in the next 2 weeks. Also, Wizards never contacted either of us about premiering a card. I asked them to. I tried to send out messages. They didn't get back to me. I'd have loved to premiere a Thunder Junction card for y'all.
That'd be sick.
Wizards, if you're watching, I'd love to do it. Numbskull would love to do it as well.
Yep, I'm down. I'm always down.
So yeah, probably on like the week of April 9th or 8th, the week of the 8th of April, like the week before it comes out, I think we'll probably do a Thunder Junction top 10, because there's gonna be a long list. There's gonna be some good stuff in this.
Yeah. We might have to. I think we can keep it to it. Stick to a top 10.
Yeah, with our golden card, and we are riding high on our golden card, because our tier 0 was Vein Ripper, and that won the fucking championship. So we know what we're talking about. Yeah. We know a good black card when we see it. Okay, we might suck at every other color and format, but at least I do. I don't know. Numbskull's pretty good.
I'm all right. Yeah. I do okay.
I'm Diamond 2, by the way.
Me too.
I'm clawing up. I'm almost there.
I just hit.
Yeah, me too. This morning, Boros got me to Diamond 2. So
okay. Nice.
Yeah. So we'll have to wait and see on that one.
But yeah, Thunder Junction would be pretty sweet. If you want to, we know we have a little bit of time. If we want to touch briefly on the art fiasco.
Yeah, we might have to. We'll touch on it. We might have to do a whole episode about Magic art, because there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing that really struck me, and
me, especially related to Thunder Junction. There is an accusation of plagiarism for artwork,
and I wanted to give props to the person who had their art stolen and make sure that we got on the right side of it. And I'll get to why, and I'm not sure if you know why, but once you hear why, you'll be like, oh yeah, dude, definitely.
So what happened? What is the?
So it's Donato Giancola, who's an artist. He lives in New York. He's done art for Magic like pretty much the whole time.
Yeah, he's a long guy. He did art for Cyberpunk, everything. Yeah,
he's done all kinds of art for games. There was the dude I guess who like damn near invented the Commander format. He had cancer and died, and he they did a card reprint that was his favorite card. Yeah, and, of him, and he what do you call it? He like designed the art to be like he the guy who had cancer was like the dude in the art. And it was like casting the spell. It was really cool, and he ended up like auctioning off the original proof of the art for like cancer like charities and shit. So it was like really good cause. So the dude's been doing magic art for the longest time. Another person, it was Faye something. I forget their name. I know their first name was Faye.
Faye Dalton.
Faye Dalton. There it is. Yeah, and they basically stole. And I believe the art that he did was actually for the Cyberpunk book that came out.
Yes, it was for Cyberpunk 2020, the book, a novel.
And I didn't even know that there was a book initially.
Well, Cyberpunk existed before the video game. It was a role-playing game set. It was its own world.
See, I never knew that. So he did art for that, and that was in 1995. And it's like, dude, you gotta like... It's like to find that you gotta like do that on purpose.
You do. He was probably looking for a reference, and if you wanted to do a reference pose, that's one thing, but it would look like, I'll put it up on the screen, it would look like he also copied just the style, skin color. I mean, there's stuff that he basically just kind of erased. I'm saying he, I don't know if it's a he or she. They erased. They erased. And you can still see like where like there was cybernetic implants because it's cyberpunk, where they basically just erase them out, and you can still kind of see the really very, very similar. Yeah, like the background, the stairs, they're
too similar.
Way too similar.
Yeah.
I would not. It's not a level 1 where it's just literally their art that he resubmitted. It looks like it's traced over and modified. So it's really riding that edge very hard, where you've changed just enough to try to make it different and fit the theme. But it would look like this is a problem, which is if they have plagiarized artwork, they're going to have to like recall those cards, reissue it, any reprints. I don't know what Wizards are going to do. It's following hot on the heels of an AI controversy with Wizards. So
like he plugged in that image. Oh, you're saying just because of the other AI shit. Yeah.
Just because the other AI shit, people were already gun shy about what's going on with Wizards art. Are they not checking it? Are they just not caring? Yeah. Is it getting sloppy? Is it getting lazy? It's an issue. It's an issue. They're going to have to do something. They're going to have to look into it. Because it's very disappointing, and it's I mean, when you see it, it's not like, oh well, it could be a coincidence. It's not a coincidence.
No. And he Donato called out Faye and said that they'll be taking legal action. So that's a big thing. Now the reason I'm gonna defend Donato on it, and I defended him even just off of seeing the photo and how similar the two pieces of art were. But Donato did the art for Invoke Despair.
Oh, okay.
So
okay. Oh yeah. So he's your dude.
I'm on his side whether he's right or wrong.
Yeah. He didn't actually design that card, right?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He appropriately captured the despair that was invoked.
Yeah.
And I love it. And Donato has done art, a lot of art for a lot of cards that I actually enjoyed in Magic.
Oh, of course, yeah.
If you go to his website, he's got such a freaking laundry list of just like, He actually did the original Sarah Angel, dude.
Yeah, he's been in the game. He's been in the game for a long time. I think
like, almost as long as I've been alive, dude.
Yeah, you can probably go back.
You're talking about like 95.
What is the first card? Yeah, he first worked in Mirage.
Okay.
According to this, Mirage came out in 1996.
96. Okay.
So this guy's got pedigree.
Yeah, man. 27 years of Magic.
Yeah,
not 27, 28. Yeah,
he's been. Yeah, he drew some of the craziest stuff. Yeah, he's drawn stuff from Mirage to Visions, Urza's Legacy to New Capenna. He's been
present.
Shivan Dragon, the 7th edition Shivan Dragon.
Yep, Shivan Dragon.
He's done a lot. So I don't know who this other artist is. I don't know anything about them.
Yeah.
But it does look like, and if they had, and the thing is if they had maybe done a little different, and they came out and were like, oh, like right when it came out, went on Twitter and went on Instagram, and they're like, I did this because inspiring me was Donato. Going back to 30 years, I grew up with his art, so I made it look like his stuff because I wanted to pay homage to one of my favorite pieces. Like, if you did that, I feel like you would have covered it, but not saying anything and not, and making it so clear. Like not changing it enough and then acknowledging it and saying, hey, I know this looks like this, but I did it on purpose because, even before anything happened, and saying, I did this as an homage.
Yeah. And I am looking at on Faye Dalton's website. It is a woman, by the way. At least yeah, she identifies as she. Okay. Yeah, I'm seeing that Faye has done she's done work for Warner Brothers, PlayStation, Google, Titan Comics. I don't really know what that is, but just she has a pretty legit resume. And she's won like a it was called the 2010 Pickled Ink Award for illustration. So she is heralded as a very good illustrator.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, they're calling into question, like, okay, and especially Donato was like, well, how much other shit have you?
Well, yeah, that's the question. Any plagiarism also brings in, all the other art. People are on the internet, they're gonna become sleuths. They're gonna go through and look.
She's been winning awards for 15 years. There's so much art to go.
And it was just the wrong time. I don't know if this is on YouTube. What just hit YouTube, plagiarism in YouTube, with H Bomber Guy's big video coming out that got like 20 million views. Plagiarism is a hot topic right now.
Yeah.
So it is a bad time to strike. People are real upset about plagiarism. There's a lot going on the internet with, like I said, AI plagiarism, lots of other things.
Yeah.
Magic under scrutiny for art and everything else. It is an interesting story that we're gonna have to wait and see. Maybe we'll have to do a full episode on the breakdown of Magic art. What is it doing? Where is it going? And responsibility in artwork.
I will say that Faye has designed Magic cards before this too.
Yeah.
From what I will say, she did the alternate art for Gala Greeters in New Capenna.
Okay.
Yeah, I am actually seeing that.
Okay.
So that's noteworthy. Admittedly, Faye is really good at art.
Yeah, no.
Probably didn't even need to steal Donato's idea. Is plenty good on her own without, so that's noteworthy. And now I guess they're talking about that card Trouble in Pairs. Now that it has all of that controversy around it, the card is projected to be a $30 card. Now, granted, the set hasn't released yet, so maybe it won't be like that, but it's projected to have some pretty big value.
What is that? Is that a Commander Masters? What set is that from?
It says MKC.
It's
Murders of Karlov Manor Commander.
I think it's Murders of Karlov Manor Commander.
Okay, so that actually is an expensive card as it is. Trouble in Pairs MTG. Yeah. Yeah, dude. On TCG Player, that card goes for $30
Wow.
used, and it's a freaking common, or maybe it's an uncommon. No,
Does
it's
it
a
have
rare.
Does it
No,
have
it's
the
a rare.
chart with the? Does it have the chart with the price history? Yeah, it was. It was previously in February. It was like $15.
Yeah,
So
and then
it's
it looks
doubled
like
in
it's
price.
skyrocketed.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a
Middle
part at this point. It's a part of Magic history. So
Yeah. So and it started off at about 30, and it's kind of back. The market price it says is 28, so that's about what they're going for.
Yeah.
So that's really something, and I
something.
had never seen it. I do think it's a powerful commander card if you read the text.
It would appear so. Yeah.
But yeah. So that's pretty crazy, dude. So yeah, definitely some things going on there, and as far as I know, and we may get into this if we ever do an episode for it. Magic artists don't get paid for the art they do for the cards.
Yeah, they do. They get a
They
flat
do?
fee. They negotiate it depending on how much they've done, but they don't get residuals. I think Magic
Oh, is that
buys,
what? Okay,
buys the rights.
it's a flat.
Yeah, they don't get residuals on it. So
I think maybe that's what I meant by didn't get paid. I apologize.
yeah, they're gonna get. They're basically gonna get. They keep the original. They keep the painting.
Yeah,
And they can sell the painting. I've seen because sometimes like the paintings have sold for a few $1,000s or whatever.
sure.
But Magic owns the right to that art. They can't like print it and make their own game out of it. You know, they can't like be like.
I see. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, but I don't think it's a flat fee. I'm sure there's a minimum. But if you're like somebody like Darkin or Seb McKinnon, you're going to get way more than
Sure.
Somebody else because people know your artwork and
Yeah. Absolutely. But yeah, I just wanted to touch on that real quick because I know that's been I came across in my news feed on like Instagram yesterday or like Twitter maybe, but yeah,
I saw it on Reddit pop up.
Reddit,
so.
Okay, yeah. So it's like kind of not a huge thing, but it's definitely a thing right now.
It's a thing.
It's a thing. So
for sure.
I wanted to just touch on it briefly and kind of give have our take on that and
talk about it.
Defend Donato real quick because I mean, come on, that's
Technically, he only did the Invoke Despair alternate.
I think that's the one that I have that one.
Oh, that's the one you. Okay, so that's what you.
Yeah.
Okay, well then there you go. You're allowed to defend him to the death. Then
I was on his website. Yeah, I mean I have 4. I was on his website and you can send him a card.
Oh.
And he'll sign it for $2 a card.
Wow, that is really good.
Yeah, I felt
that
like
is awesome.
That's actually pretty sweet given his like pedigree.
Yeah, that's pretty cheap. That's very friendly.
Maybe I should mail him an Invoke Despair. Because it's a cheap card anyway. If you lose it, whatever, it was $1.
Yeah.
It's one of those bulk dollar 50 cent to $1 rare, so like whatever.
Yeah, I don't know how it's such a good card, but
I know, man. But yeah, so so that was cool. Yeah, I was kind of like looking at his website today. I was like, man, what other stuff has he done that I thought was awesome? You know what I mean? So yeah, he's really established as an artist and has an incredible portfolio of he's a surrealism art kind of guy.
Yeah,
has an incredible surrealism portfolio. Yeah.
Okay.
So let us know, and in the comments, let us know if you guys would like to see us do something about Magic art. Maybe even if we don't, maybe we do it just like something for patrons. Who knows? Like,
we might do it.
Maybe we only have like 30 minutes worth of shit to say about it, so we don't do a full episode.
We'll see. We'll flesh it out.
Yeah, we'll kind of go over how much we think we can actually talk about that. Because I'm not really an artist myself, so other than like music, yes, but actual drawing art, shit, no. That's unfortunately not my forte. So yeah, but yeah. We just wanted to go over that real quick, but we are looking forward to the Thunder Junction, and we are, if we don't do another episode like next week, probably the week after, we'll have enough cards spoiled to give you our top 10 in 2 weeks here.
Okay, yeah, for sure, we'll be back with it.
That's a good game plan for where we're at right now.
We'll be back with it.
Yeah, awesome.
All right. Well, we're going to call this episode of the Black Council to a close. Thank you all for coming. Until next time, make sure to leave a comment, tell us what you think, and let us know. We will talk to you. We'll see you in the next one. And well, adios. Bye, everyone.
See you guys. Take care.
Get your boots and hat ready. We're going in. Bye-bye.
We're going out west.
Going out west. Bye-bye.